Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Friday, December 26, 2025, the day after Christmas. It was a very nice Christmas for all of you, I hope. And next up, I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Warid Ahmed. And for today's topics, we're firstly going to talk about how the Huda Beauty founder, Huda Kattan, has sparked influencer backlash over Kim Kardashian's Skims store opening. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal, the Saudi billionaire, is nearing a $400 million deal of the Saudi football club, and Hilal, Semafor, has reported. And finally, Nvidia agrees to acquire Saudi-backed AI chip startup Groq.
Yeah, and it's not the Groq that Elon Musk has on his X. It's a different Groq with a Q. But the first story for today, obviously, I was waiting for Word to come and discuss this. The very-based beauty entrepreneur Huda Kattan, the founder of Huda Beauty, has sparked debate after criticizing influencers who attended the opening of Kim Kardashian's first Middle East retail store, calling their participation disappointing and shameful.
Now, commenting on an Instagram post by Vogue Arabia, Kattan wrote, "The influencers attending this should be so ashamed, absolutely so disappointed in them. I really hope those influencers don't get cut out from her PR," as the video showcased the high-profile launch event.
And Kattan's remarks follow her recent public criticism of Kim Kardashian's position on Israel and Palestine, where she questioned why Kim Kardashian appears silent on current realities, which was the Gaza genocide, while referencing the Armenian genocide as part of her heritage.
Now, the comments have been igniting discussion across social media, highlighting growing pressure on influencers and celebrities to align their commercial partnerships with their stated values, especially amid ongoing humanitarian and geopolitical crisis.
And as the influencer economy matures, the Kattan's intervention underscores a broader shift. Audiences increasingly expect public figures not just to promote brands, but to take visible ethical positions when global issues intersect with business and culture. Funny thing about the whole story is that it did really well on social media. Everyone loves Huda Kattan. We know that. I've realized that everyone loves the local entrepreneurs in the UAE and Dubai community. But Huda Kattan, since she's become independent, she's gone away from all people who could stop her from saying anything just to keep the brand integrity or brand alive. She's not pulling anything back. She's like, no, I'm going all in and all out.
I think it's so refreshing, Majid, in the sense of, because she's going all in and all out, as you say, we specifically see that she's not really a part of the Hollywood ring circle.
Yes.
She's not a part of Hollywood. She's not really a part of like a lot of the famous influencers. Not really. And we even see it in Dubai Bling. Mona Kattan was a part of it, a part of these circles. With Huda Kattan, you specifically see that she's so family focused, business focused, anti-genocide focused. But I think with this entire story, I think we need to talk about specifically Skims, because this is who her backlash is targeted against. So Skims, first when it was launched, in fact, Kim Kardashian called it kimono. And she then actually received a message. I believe was it the mayor? I believe it was the mayor, basically saying this is what kimono means to us, and then she changed the name immediately. And it had actually cost her a lot of money because she already started producing clothes in the name kimono. But beside the point, as you said, Majid, she took back her brand 100%. So she basically owns it 100%. I believe it was TSG Consumers that had a stake in Huda Beauty. And then in the process of her taking it back 100%, Kayali, which is owned by her sister, Mona Kattan, also a very celebrated beauty founder, she also separated from Huda Beauty, and she went on with General Atlantic. And you clearly see the difference. Huda Kattan, she is very vocal on social media, and that's because she owns 100% of her company. Where Mona
Kattan, can say whatever she wants.
Where Mona Kattan, she is not as vocal. I saw that when she actually had said something, it was about Sudan. And it was not about Palestine, and I think that's due to the fact of, I believe her husband is Sudanese, but that's beside the point. When we take a look at Kim Kardashian, I know that a lot of us always blame her for the fact that she's opening 15 stores in Israel, 15 Skims stores, and then right after that, the story came basically saying she's throwing this like Skims PR event for the daughters of IDF soldiers. But I found something so interesting, Majid. Take a look at this. It's this article that basically says, beneath the Skims machine, which just raised $225 million in funding, is a quieter network of capital. So there's this guy, his name is Joshua Kushner, who is Jared Kushner's younger brother. Jared Kushner is the son-in-law of Donald Trump, and he owns 10% and a board seat in Skims.
Nice.
And so when you take a look at that funding, and also the fact, I'm pretty sure, weren't the Kardashians at Jeff Bezos' wedding? Yeah. The very lavish wedding that they had in Venice. They were all there, and Jeff Bezos...
They were at Ambani wedding also? The Ambani wedding? One of them?
They were.
Or all of them?
But I think it was Khloe Kardashian and it was Kim Kardashian. But I think it's a fact of these people, their network of investors, their board members, they are people with ties to Israel. And the way that we see this is specifically Jared Kushner. He is trying to build... it's almost derogatory to say out loud, but he's basically trying to build this Gaza smart city. So you can see that they have ties to Israel. So the question that I'm basically saying is, Majid, do you think that we can basically like attack Kim Kardashian and say, you don't care and whatnot? Or can we maybe say that Kim Kardashian has investors and board members who would not sit right with the idea of her saying that I stand against what is happening in Palestine?
Very complicated to like understand all of this. See, I was telling Worth in the morning that we have a very big startup. 3 days ago, Nas Daily did one video where he was like, 5 unicorns per 100 million population comes out of Israel. He's very pro-Israel nowadays. He's making videos about Israel left, right, and center, using AI obviously. But he pointed out that 5 unicorns, and 3 unicorns that he highlighted in that video were Waze. First of them was Waze. We all use Waze here in the UAE. I don't think Middle East, I didn't see it in Saudi Arabia much, but we use it here. Waze was acquired by Google for Google Maps, so they integrated their API, their whole map structure, but kept the Waze thing there, the look and feel of Waze. So you can't really argue in this that you can't have Israeli connections. Everything has some Israeli connection. You pick up the biggest apps in the world. There's this company called Thrive Capital. It's one. If you talk about Andreessen Horowitz, it's a global picture that I'm giving you. But just to understand the complexity and the magnanimity of the whole situation and how it's nearly impossible to avoid it. As long as you can, I'm all in favor of it. I'm just explaining how it's nearly impossible. So A16Z, Andreessen Horowitz, biggest VC funds, they have so many people. Then there's Y Combinator, we covered them a lot. There's also a company called Thrive Capital. Thrive Capital also invests in a lot of startups. One of the founders is Israeli. So how do you make the connection, or how do you gauge that this is the level of connection I would accept, and this is the level of Israeli connection that I won't accept, right?
So do we blame Kim Kardashian or not?
We can't blame them really. Anyone who can. No, I think
because she's a billionaire, you don't need.
She became a billionaire on the basis of those fundings. You can't just run a business.
She was anyways a billionaire
before Skims. Yeah.
So it's like, I think for me that's what it is. It's kind of difficult to stand on a moral compass like this, because she made a name for herself with Skims. I believe that she's more respected, but it's almost like when I brought up, like, the Joshua Kushner being an investor, it was not to, it was to say this is perhaps why she's not speaking up, because of the Kardashians' close ties to Israeli families, but it's also you don't need more wealth. You have enough wealth. You have a lot of investments. Obviously, people like them.
That's debatable if you need more wealth or not.
See, obviously, people like them will keep acquiring more wealth, but it's that point of I bring it up, but it's not to say that Kim is a victim, because she is very much aware of what she's doing.
See, I would just say she should talk about Palestine and the genocide by Israel. Everyone should talk about it. That's a given. There is no argument against it. Even if you have like a neutral position, at least be vocal about it, that why you are neutral on this case. A lot of the big Hollywood stars, Mark Ruffalo is one of my favorites, the Hulk. Even before that, he was a very nice actor, but he's now famously known as the Hulk. He's very vocal about it. We saw a whole event in the Wembley Stadium where everyone was there, nearly everyone was there.
I think I saw the Zito guy, Florence Pugh.
Yeah, there's so many people. The sister of Black Widow. So she was there, everyone was there, and they're still doing movies and series. See, Thunderbolts, Florence Pugh is there. She did the very famous one, the nuclear bomb one. She was in there. So people have set example that talking about Palestine, the genocide in Gaza, doesn't take the work away from you now. It was a big thing, I think, when it all happened, October 7, the start of it. Not the start for us, the start by what Israeli says it all started. It started like 2 decades ago. But everyone refers to that date, and a lot of people were scared. But now everyone is quite like openly talking about it, either in favor or against. That's their own prerogative. The main idea is that you can talk about it, and Kim Kardashian, being one of the biggest stars in the world, should talk about it. That's my opinion. She chooses not to, or she chooses to talk about it. That's her complete decision. I personally think influencers, they're called influencers for a reason. They influence people. So they should have an opinion on literally everything. I always used to say this when I was a new student of journalism, like 13, 14, 15, I don't know how many years ago. But I always used to have these arguments with a lot of teachers who were in the field, right? I loved those teachers who were in the field and were teaching part-time because they were up to date with all the new things happening. This argument was always there. I remember one of my media ethics class, I asked this question, like, why shouldn't newspapers, channels have positions? They should. And we see it in the West. In America, we see that Jeff Bezos, if he owns a newspaper, it has a position against Trump or for Trump. Everyone has a position, and they should be very open about it. Either they're conservative, liberal, right-wing, left-wing, centralist, neutral, whatever they are. They should have a position.
That's why positions like Kim Kardashian's are so dangerous. And I think that we specifically saw this with the very recent tragic shooting in Brown University, the Ivy League in America, where you have this this partner at this VC firm, the largest VC firm in the world, Sequoia Capital. You have Sean McGuire come in and basically say that I 100% think, he specifically said, by the way, it's not confirmed, but I 100% think that it's this Palestinian student here. He says his name, by the way, and I made sure that I cut it out of the video because clearly it's going to destroy that student's life who probably has a very big future ahead of him. He specifically targets a student that does not even know him, simply because he is Palestinian, and just pins the entire murders on him. And then after that, it comes out that it's this Portuguese man that is behind the entire thing. And that kind of thinking, this is why it's so dangerous. This is why it's really bad when you see people like Kim Kardashian not speaking out, because it almost has this halo effect, this domino effect that we see across America, where it's almost like daily life goes against Palestinian people, whether they're students, whether they're employees, whether they're founders, they are disadvantaged. Well, unless you're like Amjad Masad and you build a product that's like so crazy, like Replit, that Silicon Valley does not feel the need to question you.
My opinion on this, in a very simple statement, is have a position. I am not saying have a position in favor of Israel or in favor of Palestine. At least have a position. You're in that level, like the echelons of society and influencership. you should have a position. If
Really?
she's anti it, she should have a position. Even if she wants to
I
stay
think it's
neutral.
good that she doesn't have a position. Because if she actually said something, she'd probably be cancelled so quickly.
No, but she has to have a position because there is market. Like if she's anti-Palestine in all this fiasco, and she's like anti-not Palestine, if she's like anti-Hamas, which everyone tries to portray in their arguments, they say, no, we're anti-Hamas, not anti-Palestine. If she's that, say it. If she's pro-Israel, say it. Whatever she is. I think it's about time that all the influencers in the world, not even like Kim Kardashian, everyone, they need to take a stand. Otherwise, their audiences, it's very clear, audiences want someone for their personalities now. It's not just like,
Really?
oh, he's funny or this
But
and
like,
that.
imagine no one's asking Becca Bloom, do you support Palestine or Gaza? Did you see that Asian influencer on TikTok? She basically went trending. I
Yeah.
forgot if she's Chinese or from Singapore. Imagine she's like filthy rich. Like another, like this, no, seriously, it's like another level of wealth that she displays on TikTok. And that's like become her entire niche. Her having this like beyond wealth, and everyone in the comment section is constantly like, when you watch like crazy rich Asians, like, is your life better than them or worse? But that's all people talk about. Like, we love that she's rich. Oh my God, I love
Yeah.
this life for you. I love reading comment sections. I don't see a single person asking her about a single political issue in this world. Of Becca, you don't post about Palestine. It's just Becca, oh my God, give us the Hermes haul. Yeah, like you would not believe how shallow people are, because people don't actually care that much. I think that if Kim Kardashian continues to remain in limbo, I don't think she's remained in limbo. Her commentary shows that it's basically like, free everyone, I love everyone, just everyone buy my products. But hey, I don't have anything to say.
Reminds me of there's this whole argument between Aristotle and Socrates, and Aristotle argues in favor of dictatorship. Basically, he doesn't call it a dictatorship, but he calls it like one person should be in charge of everything, and the other people, whoever is with him, should be in the shura, like in the council. They shouldn't have the power to decide. They should only have the power to give suggestions, and then the ruler, the only person, decides. It gives you an insight into social media, that how social media has given that one person power to everyone. Every person can comment, give a statement out, oh, she's this, he is that, he's that. So social media has given power to the masses to become that one person who should have the knowledge, the emotional stability. There's three basic ideas that any leader should have according to Aristotle. Rustu, as we call him, right? So it's emotional stability, or leadership he breaks down into emotional stability, knowledge. He doesn't, sorry, not knowledge, what's the word? Wisdom. Wisdom, not knowledge. He says wisdom. Some people who haven't even gone to like formal education have more wisdom than people who've done PhDs. So wisdom, emotional stability, and a warrior heart. If you have these three qualities, you can be a true leader. So everyone wants to become that. Everyone wants to be in that position on social media, that if I comment and I say and I get 2,000 likes on this post, comments also get liked, right? So I think it's the race to become, oh, my comment got the most like because I spewed a lot of hate, or I made such a nice statement, or I made a joke about this person. So it's kind of a hubristic, very, very weird kind of a situation on social media, and you're completely right. I agree with you that not everyone deserves a platform.
You know what?
Social media empowered a lot of people, but it empowered a lot of other people, the other side also.
I just think that people are extremely opportunistic, and it comes once again back to capitalism. Because in the end of the day, I can't really say that, Kim Kardashian is someone who's not woke. She was married to Kanye West.
Yeah.
She mashallah, she has like 4 black kids.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that she is like pro everyone.
Yeah.
She is I really don't, when I look at her, I'm not thinking this is someone who's extremely prejudiced. I'm just thinking that this is someone who's extremely capitalist and opportunistic, and sees the opportunity to sell in Israel just as they see the opportunity to sell everywhere.
Yeah.
Is it right? Probably not.
Business-wise, 100% agree with her. She should sell her stuff everywhere, business-wise. Again, we always talk about this, that there is something called business ethics as well. And if someone has like 1% morality in them. They should also focus on business ethics with building a business. So selling everywhere obviously will make you a lot of money, but sometimes like Ben and Jerry's, you have to take a stand, either resign or be left out or decide.
Look at them. Like, what if we don't know. Maybe Kim Kardashian is quietly trying to buy out all of these investors, but she actually can't because
that's a lot of money.
Ben and Jerry, they're trying to become independent again. They were bought out a long time ago in the 2000s by Unilever, but they can't become independent. It's really difficult for them. They're trying to get us, the fans, to to sign these open letters for them to be removed from Magnum, but it's becoming impossible. People from their peace board board council are getting fired. Their CEO is fired. So we clearly see that even if maybe Kim Kardashian does want to speak up, it's very...
She's not in a position where Huda is.
Exactly.
Right?
It's very tentative to actually be able to restructure. No, I would actually say that Kim probably has more money, but her company does really have a lot of investors. And that's why a lot of people are really careful about onboarding more investors, more board members, because your power as a founder is really going to, it's just going to diminish the more people that you add.
I think we've moved on from the idea of that whoever gives you money, take the money. Now we've moved on to the idea where whoever your money giver is, if it's a VC, if it's some angel investor, if it's a sovereign wealth fund, to be honest, you need to align your ideals or your future ideals of your company if you become big with the people who you're taking money from. If they don't align, they won't let you allow.
On Shark Tank, by the way, a lot of these people that come in don't actually take the money. And I didn't realize
it's just a
this
marketing
at first.
tactic.
No, in Shark Tank USA, I noticed the founders do actually take the money because the 4 judges there, their mass network that they have, they don't just have a mass network and mass money. They're actually builders. They'll help you build and they'll help you scale. But I've noticed here, it's actually a marketing tactic. These people literally come in, hey guys, this is me. Oh my God, yes, we're so emotional. We're gonna take the money. Camera goes off. Actually, I'm not really happy with this. We'll go out on our own.
When the actual paperwork comes, they're like, no.
Literally, it doesn't happen. And I've seen this happen twice with 2 stories that we've done. Mazen Kannan, the founder of House of Pops. Yasmin Jasri, the founder of Bake My Day. They're like the winning cookies in Dubai right now, and rightfully so. But you see that trend. They don't actually take the money. And it's because some part of them is aware that you diminish control. You relinquish your control when you relinquish your stakes. But just to move on right now, a company that is relinquishing its shares to another billionaire is the Saudi football club Al Hilal. So Saudi billionaire Prince Alwaleed bin Talal is now close to completing a deal to acquire 70% stake in the Riyadh-based football club Al Hilal for around $400 million, according to people familiar with the matter cited by Semafor.
And the proposed transaction involves Kingdom holding Prince Alwaleed's investment vehicle and Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, which has been in talks for several months. A Saudi non-profit, largely funded by Alwaleed, owns the remaining stake.
Now, if finalized, the deal would value Al Hilal at approximately 2 billion riyals, or about $530 million. So PIF and Kingdom Holding declined to comment on this. Now the club is currently ranked 2nd in the Saudi Pro League.
Prince Alwaleed is a long-time supporter of Al Hilal and has previously provided financial backing. The deal would mark Saudi Arabia's largest football club privatization to date, reinforcing the kingdom's push to elevate its league through global stars like Cristiano Ronaldo and a lot of others. Now,
PIF, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, which owns a 17% stake in Kingdom Holding, took control of 4 Saudi clubs in 2023 ahead of planned privatizations. Now, U.S. sports executive Ben Harburg remains the only foreign owner and has signed interest in acquiring a women's team.
And all these stories, all this hullabaloo about all what is happening, I think 100% Prince Alwaleed bin Talal will take over Al Hilal. He looks cute in that blue scarf, the picture that we have. But he's a big-time football fan. We've talked about him a lot. And also, he's a very forward-looking person. The investments that he's made over the years, it's not just Al Hilal. He's invested in X, AI, also X, when Musk bought it as X. Now X is merged into XAI. So technically the company is XAI now. So it's very clear that he wants to build future not future companies. He wants to invest in companies which are building the future, not investing in a Meta now, which is already, I think, matured, and I don't know what they're trying to do. They're shutting down everything.
No, he definitely is building the future, and we see that with him. Kingdom Holding, the investment company, which he is the chairman of, building quite literally the next Burj Khalifa in Saudi Arabia, the Jeddah Tower, which resumed construction after they had some budgeting constraints. But the reason why we specifically brought up this story again, I just want to add this in, Majid, is because Saudi journalists actually came in and said that we're being told to break the news and that Alwaleed is going to acquire Al Hilal for 100% of it for $2 billion. That is the number that they put up. And then you have Semafor coming in and essentially saying that no, it's for $400 million. So right now, I feel that all of this is in limbo. We don't actually know which number it's going to be. I'm certain that that's probably when Bloomberg will write the piece and let us know he's officially acquired it and for what number. But I think with this entire story, it's great to see people be nationalistic. I know that in the past, he has always been a very grand investor in Al Hilal. He's given them more than $200 million over the years. In fact, when Neymar was brought to Saudi Arabia to barely even play, he actually flew in a jet owned by Prince Alwaleed bin Talal. But I think the point is, it's so good to see people be nationalistic, because we often see with a lot of these billionaires and millionaires, Majid, they like to take their money elsewhere. And right now, that's what we're seeing the British billionaires do. They just packed it right up. After they taxed them, they took their money and they came to Dubai. So to see Alwaleed invest right back into his local economy, I think in itself it is something grand.
The only thing I can say is he loves Saudi Arabia. He is a national, and I love people who love their countries and actually take a part in building it. You can just say, oh, I love this country, and not take a part in building it and go outside like me. But I'm just saying, Alwaleed bin Talal, I think if you talk about the last 2 decades of Saudi Arabia, and then a lot of newer people that we see talking about Saudi Arabia, they start Saudi Arabian history from 2015, when Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman came into as a de facto leader, and he's leading a lot of things. You see Prince Alwaleed bin Talal left, right, and center in the picture. After the whole fiasco, the whole arresting, and that's a whole different story for a whole different day. But he came back, and to be honest, before he left for London, and there's a lot of controversy around what happened. There's no public records. There's only stories by Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, everyone. The thing is that even in the time when he was not here, a lot of pieces say that he was some way connected to Saudi Arabia, because he was pushing the Wall Street to invest in Saudi Arabia somehow. So even when he was not in the country, he was helping the country, and now he's there. Even before everything happened, he was there. He was building Kingdom Holding Company. I remember it's one of very famous clips which you see after every 2 months on your feed in Insta or TikTok, where one of the journalists is asking how much you're worth, and he's like, I'm worth $20 billion. And the guy is like, only 20, exactly 20, roughly 20. He's like, 20-ish, it's tough. And I'm like, you have $20 billion, and still it's tough for you.
But you know what, Majid? We cannot give him all the credit. I think that the credit is due for the Alain sisters.
Those ladies,
Recently, Bloomberg, they wrote this beautiful feature about the Alain sisters, one of whom is extremely famous, is Lubna Al-Alain, whom actually worked in New York, then came back to Saudi Arabia. Al-Alain Group is really famous because they hold the franchise for Burger King, I believe, across Saudi Arabia and many nations in the Middle East, and I believe also Buffalo Wild Wings, Texas Chicken. And actually, when you take a look at the delegation that the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman brought with him to his recent visit to Washington to Donald Trump, Alwaleed bin Talal was not there. It was Lubna Al-Alain who was there. She is frequently seen speaking to Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, also Yasser Al-Rumayyan, the chairman of Saudi Arabia's public investment fund that's worth $1 trillion. And you also see her talking to Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, the group CEO of Mubadala. the Sovereign Wealth Fund in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
So I think that, in fact, I think she is the real power broker there, that they go to her, because I don't always see them. Maybe it's because of the fact that he sided with Elon Musk. Maybe that's what it is. But I think that she's a really grand figure. And what I love is that she's extremely private.
I realized that she is the woman to look at. You have to look at the power dynamics at FII recently. You saw the first.
Yeah.
So the first ever women to represent Saudi Arabia and the Middle East, to be honest, and the Arab world to an extent, in FII, in the very first plenary session, was Lubna Olayan in this FII, the FII 9 that happened. And I didn't realize it at that point when I was looking at Ben Ackman, I was looking at the other people, all the big names sitting. Larry Fink was sitting in that table, in that round table. David Rubenstein was doing the interview. You look at all those men. I'll show you why. You look at all those men. They're men of power. They control billions and billions of dollars, right? She was the only woman. That's like the first statement. The second statement, she's a Saudi woman. And then David Rubenstein goes on and asks the question that everyone wanted to ask and had on their mind. How difficult is it as a woman to work in Saudi Arabia or run a business? And her reply was so nice and so calculated. She was like, I've been doing this for 40 years. This same business. I've been doing it for 40 years in Saudi Arabia. No one stopped me. So it's more visible now that women do participate. And I remember Forbes did the Alwaleed bin Talal interview recently, if I remember correctly. And
most
you
of
remember,
the employees in his company are women.
He was like, even before feminism was anything, or even before Saudi, the modern Saudi that you talk about, I always wanted more women in my team. And he was like, why not? Why do you want 50%? That's his ideal, and that is why he hires women. He's like, why would you keep 50% of the workforce out? And that's bad for productivity, that's bad for the country, that's bad for the economy. He's like, from day one, when I set up Kingdom Holding Company, I was like, no, I'll give equal opportunity to women to join the company. And he made, obviously, Saudi Arabia, that everyone talks about, oh, they were very conservative and this and that. He 100% made an environment where women felt safe to work also. So it naturally follows that all these people, and I think the Lubna Al-Olayan placement in FII in the first plenary was strategic. It wasn't a chance. It was 100% to show the world. Yasser Al-Rumayyan could have sat there. He's the PIF governor. He sits on the 1.21 trillion mammoth PIF. Alwaleed could have been there. There's like hundreds of people. A minister of economy, minister of finance could have sat there. They put Lubna Al-Olayan.
They chose her just because
They
she's a
literally
woman.
chose her. No, there's a lot of reasons. It's one, women, 100%. They wanted to show the world that this is the level of women in our society, that we choose to send her in the first plenary, not anyone else. It's a statement, to be honest. And the second thing, 100%, that to show that women have an equal opportunity in Saudi Arabia to become billionaires. They just crossed 50 billion, right? So it was such a nice move. A lot of people lost it because they were focused on Bill Ackman and David Rubenstein, and there was this another guy, completely forgot his name. He's the head of a very giant fund. So all these people, you look at them, you only look at them. I was looking at
But at the same time, you know, her saying that there are a lot of Saudi women working now, I think that we can definitely attribute that to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And I think that she did this interview, I think it was 2 years ago, where she basically said that in Al-Alain group, she was the only woman working there for 18 years. I know you said that she's been working there for 40 years, Majid, half of which she was the only woman there. And she even said that it was difficult for her because when she would go on, you know, she would go on these like different tours of different companies, construction companies or lenders, suppliers that they work with. It was, she could not find a female restroom to go to. And I think for me, that's why when I take a look at her story, it is very inspiring because it is intimidating to be the only person in a room and you don't really have anyone to relate to.
The interesting thing is, she told the story in some video. I was trying to watch the whole video. I couldn't, I will soon, where she explains how her father was the main man who was like, no. In this situation, in this country or wherever, I want my daughters to lead. So I think these men have set good examples that women should not be stopped from anything. They should be allowed equal opportunity to do whatever they want.
Indeed.
100%.
And right now, U.S. chip maker Nvidia has done what it wants, and it has agreed to acquire Groq, the fast-growing AI inference chip company with deep links to Saudi Arabia, according to people familiar with the matter. Now, the move strengthens Nvidia's dominance across AI training and inference markets.
And Groq has emerged as a strategically important AI hardware player, positioning itself as a high-performance alternative for inference workloads. Folding Groq into Nvidia tightens U.S. control over critical AI infrastructure as competition accelerates across chips, data centers, and sovereign computing capacity.
Now, at the Gain Summit 2025, Groq unveiled a major package with Saudi Aramco, including an estimated $1.5 billion committed to expand Groq-powered AI infrastructure and build a large data center presence in Dammam to serve global workloads.
And in November 2025, recently, Groq and Humane also announced an expanded partnership at the US-Saudi Investment Forum when the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman was in Washington, targeting deployment of next-generation inference infrastructure across Saudi Arabia as the kingdom scales its AI ambitions.
Now, for Saudi Arabia and the wider Gulf, the acquisition highlights how rapidly regional investments in advanced AI hardware are being absorbed into U.S. technology giants' strategies, underscoring the kingdom's growing role in global AI supply chains and infrastructure planning. I think this entire story is really telling us how money is moving within Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
A while ago, we saw how they divested from major U.S. companies, including Pinterest and Visa, and now, when you see their investments in companies like Groq, which provide chips that are so valuable to the extent that Nvidia would want them, you see how their capital is actually moving and how they're weighing their investments and how they actually keep them valuable. And I think it's with making bets like these.
Yeah, and Groq is, to be honest, the takeover by Nvidia is very nice because Nvidia. Groq is one of the startups. Apart from, there is another one, Cerebrus, and then there's Intel, which also makes chips, but they're not as powerful as Nvidia. There's Chinese players, some of them, who are trying to build chips as powerful as Nvidia. And Nvidia's Jensen Huang himself, he appears at so many places that I can't remember where he said it, but he said that if we don't keep running at the speed that we're running, or like making better chips, China will catch up in 2 to 3 years. That is why he wants to export those chips to China, and then he faces a lot of problems and the stock prices go down, and then Trump one day says, okay, you can export the, not the latest one, but H200s, stock price goes up, and then Senate Technical Committee opens a proceeding that, oh no, you can't. So he's facing a lot of problems. Nvidia is the best chip maker right now in the world. So this move is very like killing the competition move for me. They saw that they were building the data center, the Dammam data center. The clip that I shared on the post that we did, the whole interview is with CNBC, and it's like a 10-minute interview, but he very nicely explains that Saudi Arabia right now is the best place to build a data center. Why? He says, if I take all the infrastructure, the building and the thing, taking it to US is a big problem. Obviously, you have to transport it, right? So he was like, why take all of that to US? Instead, I'll bring the data to Saudi Arabia. So energy is cheap in Saudi Arabia, oil, blah, 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 blah. They have so many energy sources. To an extent, the mountainous region also has wind energy. Sun is there. There's like 100 options for energy. So like energy is there. I just need to bring data and build a data center. So that way, I can provide better inferencing. Inferencing is basically the system behind every LLM that you use, every chat GPT or every chatbot that you use. It's behind it. It basically takes your data, does an inferencing protocol, and then translates it into whatever you see. So that's what these chips are for. The faster they are, the better results, and quicker the results.
And I think also with Saudi Magic, they've done this really great thing, and we've seen it across a lot of countries where they have major AI companies that are building their data centers. Obviously, they have Humane that's building their data centers.
Yeah.
I specifically mentioned this because of the fact of, Nvidia is great and all, but Nvidia is so volatile.
Yeah.
It is extremely volatile. I believe they have their stock has one of the largest betas. I believe it's at over 2. And the reason why I mention this is because of the fact of if the market rises, they'll rise by 2. And if the market falls, they'll fall by 2. But the point is to say that it's good that they still have, while yes, they are outsourcing, they have their own AI company, which is ensuring that they have their own chips, that they have their own data centers, so that they're not extremely reliant on Nvidia. Because we have seen it in the past, and not to be cynical, but great companies can also crash.
Yeah.
So for Saudi to make sure that their local economy is blossoming is so important. Remember that story that you did a while ago when I first joined Majid? It was basically about Saudi reducing their foreign investments and I think increasing their local investments. So I forgot, it was a specific percentage there.
It was Yasser Al-Rumayyan. He said at last year's FII that we're going to remove 10% of our external investments, and that is why I think they moved out of Meta and all these big US giants. They took the money and they said that we'll invest it locally. I don't know by locally he meant local startups or locally Humane, because Humane has a big budget. They're building so many things that they have at least, I think, a $10 billion budget to make whatever they want to make. I'll tell you a funny story. The Gain Summit thing that we mentioned, the $1.5 billion promise from Saudi Arabia for Groq, it was through Aramco. And Tariq Amin was the CEO or digital head or something of Aramco.
Digital.
And you look at the pictures and Tariq Amin and the Groq CEO are standing together. And at that point, there was no mention of Humane. No one knew even that Humane was being built.
So it's been a long time in the making.
January, Tariq Amin announces a deal with Groq, $1.5 billion investment, and they're building a data center. March, April, where Trump comes, Tariq Amin is picked up from Aramco Digital, made the head of Humane. A whole new company comes up. And then Humane goes on to sign another agreement with Groq. So this person has been behind literally all these moves. Before it was hidden or in some way at Aramco level. Now it's Humane and Saudi level.
Do you think that maybe this is a company rebrand? Look, Aramco Digital,
it can be.
It made me realize, because Aramco Digital, it's still there.
It's government-owned Aramco, right?
If you think about it, when people think about Aramco, of course they're going to think about oil and oil rigs. So for them to rebrand that subsect of the company, make it Humane, green,
and then
AI,
they invested recently, remember? They
same
also
CEO. I think that it does make a lot of sense. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our more than 2 million monthly listeners across all platforms on the Augustus Media Podcast platform. Make this possible. If you're one of them, we appreciate you. Have a great day. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.